So good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, Leverett. And as Leverett mentioned, my name is Rashana Moore Evans, and I am honored to have been part of the Spring 2024 cohort of the Commonwealth Seminar with all of you. It has been truly an enriching experience to hear your perspectives, your own experiences, and insights during our sessions. I am deeply grateful to all the speakers who generously shared their knowledge with us each Wednesday evening when I'm pretty sure they had other things they could do, but they came and they spoke with us and really shared some knowledge that I know that I did not have. So I am grateful for them. Their insights, the insights I've gained are invaluable, and I'm eager to apply what I have learned in my day-to-day to my day-to-day and my future work. And I'm especially grateful to Leverett, and I think we should all give him a round of applause for his exceptional leadership, dedication, and effort. So let's just give him his flowers. He deserves them. His passion for civic engagement, his humor, which I have enjoyed these last couple of weeks, and his commitment to teaching diverse leaders about the legislative process is truly commendable. And I am profoundly thankful for his support during these last 6 weeks. And I really do hope that we can stay connected, Leverett, because you've been awesome. So today, as we gather for our final session and graduation, we also commemorate Juneteenth, or Freedom Day, as Leverett mentioned. While it has gained wider recognition in recent years, it has been celebrated within the Black community for over a century. It is a day to celebrate our liberation. And July 4th is not our day of liberation, but Juneteenth is a day of liberation for specifically for descendants of enslaved people. So Juneteenth marks the day on June 19th, 1865, when the last enslaved people in Galveston, Texas, were informed of their freedom by General Gordon Granger, who delivered General Order Number 3. This decree enforced the Emancipation Proclamation and declared, "The people of Texas are informed, in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free." This involves an absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connection heretofore is existing between them becomes that between employer and hired labor. So they were then to get wages for their labor. They were no longer free labor. It was no longer free labor. So the reflecting on this historic day through the lens of our learnings from the Commonwealth Seminar, we can appreciate the importance of understanding and engaging in the legislative process. The Emancipation Proclamation, which laid the groundwork for General Order Number 3 on Juneteenth, was itself a product of legislative and executive action. It underscores how legal frameworks and government decrees can drive societal change and advance civil rights. Throughout the Commonwealth Seminar, we have explored the intricacies of the legislative process, from how bills are proposed and debated to how they are enacted into law. We have learned that advocacy, informed citizenship, and active participation are crucial to shaping policies that reflect the values of equity and justice. The story of Juneteenth reminds us that progress often requires persistence and the collective efforts of those committed to justice. So reflecting on my own time in class and this historic day brings me back to my personal and professional journey in social justice work, which has led me to the role that I have at Harvard. So I think I may have mentioned early on that I was born and raised in Boston, Massachusetts. I met my husband here. I went to UMass Boston for both undergrad and graduate school. So I have a deep affection for the state. My father, who raised me here in Boston, instilled in me early on the importance of education and the value of embracing Black culture through art, music, and literature. I was especially intrigued by literature and was an avid reader growing up. So at the age of 11, I read Native Son. So I'm not sure if any of you all know that book, but it was a book written by Richard Wright. And it was about a young Black man who mistakenly murdered he mistakenly killed his boss's daughter. And it became this whole situation that happened afterwards. But that book actually gave me a profound understanding of the Black, obviously I'm Black, but at 11 years old, I got a profound understanding of racial issues and the complexity of being Black in America. So there's one quote from that book that still resonates with me deeply to this day. And it goes, "Men can starve from a lack of self-realization as much as they can from a lack of bread." And I'll repeat that. Men can starve from a lack of self-realization as much as they can from a lack of bread. So this quote underscores to me the importance of self-fulfillment and understanding of one's potential, which are as vital to our well-being as physical nourishment. So this quote in this book, as I mentioned, laid the foundation for me to challenge my circumstances and actively shape my future. To me, this is also what Juneteenth signifies, the ongoing journey towards self-realization and freedom. So my commitment to social justice work is also deeply personal as a mother. So my daughter attended an independent, predominantly white school in Beacon Hill, not too far from the State House. And one day while they were studying about the Wampanoag Indians, she expressed her excitement about the idea of living during, the colonial times or before colonial times when the Wampanoag Indians were, fishing for their own food, building their own homes, building tools. And she's like, I would have loved to live during that time. And her white classmate responded and said, if you were living during that time, you would have been a slave, and I would have been the daughter of a slave owner. And that statement that this young girl made was a statement of power and positionality. And that was my daughter's introduction to racial hierarchy. And so while I already had this foundation of, social justice and understanding like the complexities of Black people in America, when that happened to my daughter, I like jumped into some serious action because I was like, oh my gosh, this is awful. Like we can't let our children live in this world and actually weaponize race, because that's what was happening during that conversation. This young white girl, whether she knew it or not, was weaponizing, race. And so I was upset, and I took action by launching a parent group at that school to facilitate difficult conversations about race. We also built partnerships with Boston Public Schools to bridge the gap between this predominantly white school and Boston Public Schools, and also to gain like a range of perspectives around different types of experiences in life. And then I also took on things in my workplace. I launched an affinity group for people of color at the Broad Institute. I've been a board member of the Massachusetts Public Health Association for about 10 years now, and I was the founding chair of the Racial Equity and Health Committee. So this journey of advocacy and action has prepared me for the work that I'm doing right now, which I say is the work of liberation, which is what I now continue as the executive director of the Harvard and the Legacy of Slavery Initiative. So I am privileged to work in this role at Harvard, which you all know is the oldest and most renowned institution in higher education in this country. And because I have this role, I feel this strong sense that this institution must bear a significant responsibility to leverage our resources and reputation to support educational opportunities for future generations and to dismantle systemic inequities that impact descendants of chattel slavery. Our initial steps in addressing these harms involve acknowledgement and truth-telling about the legacy of slavery. If you all, and I'll actually put some of these resources in the chat, we've released a comprehensive report, we published a book, and we produced a short film on the subject. We have hosted numerous screenings and dialogues, and we have also developed a K-12 professional education program for educators on how to teach the history of slavery. We also launched an inaugural reparative partnership grant program where we had solicited proposals and projects from community organizations on how to address systemic inequities in education, criminal justice, urban planning, economic mobility, and healthcare. And we received over 100 applications from the Boston, Cambridge, and greater Boston area. And we selected 14 projects for funding, and about $2 million worth of funding is going out to community organizations. Additionally, we are collaborating with HBCUs to digitize African-American collections so that we can make sure that our history continues to be out there and continue to be available, because we know that right now there's a concerted effort to erase history, especially African-American history. And we also launched a program inviting HBCU undergraduates to join Harvard's research community and develop expertise in advanced research methodologies. And these are just a few of the many programs we have launched in the last year. And so I want to bring it back to the Commonwealth Seminar. So the mission of the Commonwealth Seminar resonates deeply with my work, which is why I was so excited to get involved. Both initiatives strive to educate, empower, and engage the community to foster a more equitable society. The seminar's commitment to diversifying leadership and increasing civic engagement aligns seamlessly with our goals, or my goal as a human being, as well as with my work of addressing historical injustices and promoting systemic change. So as we graduate today, let us carry forward the lessons we have learned. Let us remember that the struggle for equality and freedom is ongoing, and that each of us has a role to play in shaping a more just society. By applying our knowledge of the legislative process, we can continue to advocate for policies that honor the spirit of Juneteenth and promote absolute equality of personal rights and rights of property to all. Thank you all for the opportunity to share my journey and the critical work we're undertaking at Harvard. Together, through education, acknowledgement, and collaborative action, we can create a more equitable future for all. Let us continue to learn from one another and work collectively to dismantle systemic inequities. And have a wonderful evening. I will talk a little bit more after this, and I look forward to staying connected with all of you and witnessing the positive impact that you all will achieve.
Thank you, Roshana. That was wonderful. Thank you so much for that. Thank you for sharing that. As soon as you told the story of your daughter, I immediately got really mad. And I thought, oh my God, I don't know how I would have handled it. I think you did it in such a productive way. I would have been less productive originally. I would have done something else. So good for you. I mean, wonderful for you. Wonderful for your daughter that she has a mom like you who will not just take it sitting down. And thank you for sharing that. And good for your daughter's school. Hopefully that you were able to do something productive with it so that it will impact future generations and future students in that school. So thank you for that. And yes, thank you for the work that you're doing, and thank you the work that you're doing, and thank you for the work that you will do, and we would love to connect with you and stay connected with you. So thank you for that. And our next speaker is another very accomplished woman, Linda Champion, attorney Linda Champion is a seminar grad from back when we were in person, and she has stayed active with the seminar since then. She is the senior legal counsel at Murphy, Hesse, Toomey, and Lehane. She's an adjunct professor at New England Law. Before this, for 10 years, she was an assistant district attorney in the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. And in the community, she is everywhere. She's president of the Korean American Citizens League of Massachusetts. She's on the Town of Milton's Equity and Justice for All Committee. She's on the board of Boston Arts Academy, board of Urban Edge Housing Corporation. She's an executive committee member at Urban League of Massachusetts, and she's a commissioner for the mass status of women and girls. And somehow she's found time to join us here today. So thank you for all that you do, Linda, and grateful for the time and the perspective that you're able to offer us. So Linda Champion, everybody.
Hi, everyone. I guess I should apologize first because I didn't put my computer on mute as you were giving that beautiful, beautiful history lesson with respect to Juneteenth, and I appreciate that. So I'm born and raised in Texas, so I'm a true Texan. My family were my great grandfather and grandmother were slaves in Georgia, and they migrated to Texas. My mother is from South Korea, and she's an immigrant. So talk about having so many different perspectives that come into one space. What I hope all of you took out of the Commonwealth Seminar, which is a program that I highly recommend for everyone. I recommend it because, the mission is to open the door for everyone. And if Juneteenth teaches you nothing in history, it teaches you the power of knowledge. The fact that people didn't know what they didn't know allowed people to take advantage of them. And so if you remember nothing else about the Commonwealth Seminar, just remember that each of you have the power to change the trajectory of someone else's life. You have the power within yourself to make a difference. And you have the ability to make that difference. And I know that everyone sort of comes out of the seminar changed in a different way. And what I'm hoping that each of you recognize, and nobody said it better than Tom Brady, not that I want to quote Tom Brady, but one of the things he said is, look, life is hard. Everybody has it hard. And if you think about it, no matter what you try to do in your life, whether it's personal or professional, when you're in the midst of doing it, it feels difficult. It feels like you want help. It feels like you need information and resources. But one of the things that, if you guys listen to Natalie's speech, and I find her very inspiring, she took an issue that she felt passionately about and strongly about, and no matter how many doors were closed in her face, no matter how many people said, look at you, you're a white woman, why are you speaking on a Rosa Parks issue? You have no business in this space. What it shows you is, if any of you see anything that you think could be improved, if you see anything where you feel like someone's rights are violated, that you should feel empowered to speak up on behalf of someone else. Or if you feel like people deserve recognition, or that there is a space that you feel like, hey, this could be better. Let's fix it, right? Never feel afraid to start on your own, right? And then you let everybody catch up with you. And so what was interesting when Natalie talked is about how she started this project, and when it concluded, and when it was finalized, and when it was unveiled, the only person not allowed at that ribbon cutting was her, right? So sometimes you guys are going to be in spaces doing things and doing the hard work, and just know that in the back of your mind that you're doing it not for the recognition, but you're doing it because it's the right thing to do. And that's hard, right? What I love is all the different faces on the screen, because one of the things we all represent is diversity, and being able to participate in spaces regardless of the color of our skin, our age, our gender, our sexual orientation, right? The fact that you guys are all here speaks volumes to your ability to be a part of the process. And sure, it's easy for all of us to sit and complain about all the things that are wrong and all the things that are done wrong. I can look at your faces and know that my life experience and many of the things I've experienced with respect to discrimination or racism, all of you have also experienced in one way or the other. And, that idea or concept that if you're a person of color, you are the other, or you're a perpetual foreigner, or you don't necessarily deserve the title or the full title of being an American. We have to fight against those things. And we're going to do that each and every day in the spaces that we occupy. My father lost his life. He fought in the Vietnam War and died of Agent Orange exposure. And I always say that my father did not die for this country, only for us to be perpetually stuck in a cycle of racism and discrimination. And likewise, my mother came to this country without speaking English and raised 3 Black children. And I said to my mom the other day, I said, you should feel proud that all of your children have college degrees. All of your grandchildren who are of age have college degrees. And, and despite the fact that she suffered discrimination both from Koreans by marrying a Black man and having Black children, she was able to educate us and overcome all of the barriers that were in her way. And the racism, it cuts so many different ways, particularly for kids who are mixed race. And so you're always sitting on that fence, straddling that fence. And I've dealt with things in my life, even becoming a lawyer. I remember having my daughter as a lawyer, and I laugh now when I'm in community because I've practiced law now for over 22 years. And I laugh when I go into spaces and I see people as the president of this association or the head of this group. And I vividly remember being 28 years old, having my first child, not being married, and a group of white lawyers asking me the question in an open meeting, was it common that Black people only had babies and didn't care about being married? And these are the sort of horrific situations where my white counterparts, if they got pregnant or if they decided to have a baby with a surrogacy, that kind of action was celebrated and applauded as a woman taking control over her own life. And so, you know, the narrative people paint for each of us is always going to be different. But I encourage all of you to take all that you've learned here and apply it to your own life, and actively look for spaces where you can make a difference and bring knowledge to people, so that everyone has information and resources, always remembering Juneteenth, always remembering that knowledge is the power.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Linda. That's Linda and I have gotten to know each other very well over the past few years since she's been a seminar grad, and we knew each other through community, but not nearly as well. And those are a couple of stories that I had never heard before. And thank you for being so sharing and vulnerable, and the perspective that you come from both being a Korean American and a Black American is very unique, and we really appreciate the fact that you have kind of suffered from different sides, from various sides, and sharing your perspective, and some of the things that you've gone through really has been helpful. So thank you for that, and thank you for the lessons that you're bringing to the table today. So thank you again.
And congratulations, you guys have joined the best club in Massachusetts.
Well, we are everywhere, actually. It's weird how people walk into a room, it's like, oh yeah, I was 2008, and or something like that. But you just never know. And we do have a couple of alumni joining us today. I see Anita Yip on the line, and so thank you for joining us as well. And another alumni is Zach Stewart, who is he just graduated. Let's give him his props from UMass Amherst, where he was very active, including a stint as the politics and op-ed editor at the Amherst Wire. Like I mentioned, he just graduated with a dual major in Afro-American Studies and Legal Studies, and a master's in public policy. He was the chair of the Racial Justice Coalition, and his senior project studied the history of Black activism at UMass Amherst. Zach was also one of our original seminar Next Gen Fellows. It is a program that I know Lily will mention when she hops on, but it's geared towards high school and college age students. Tegan is one of our Next Gen Fellows as well. And it's a new initiative that we launched with the Coalition for Anti-Racism and Equity, which is also striving to pass a bill to have all histories taught in Massachusetts public schools. And so Zach has also represented the seminar at a number of different speaking engagements, including Get Connected's anniversary about 5 or 6 months ago. And Zach, thank you for joining us today, and take it away, Zach.
Leverett, before Zach takes it away, could I just ask all of you, we're currently doing an initiative to get Lunar New Year as a state holiday. And if any of you would like to chime in on that or participate in that, I'll post it to the Commonwealth Seminar site, and we'd love it if you could support the petition and the initiative and share it with family and friends. Thank you. Sorry, Zach. Thank you.
No, that's I should have remembered that as well. That's something similar to how Natalie was trying to get something passed. Linda's trying to get something through the legislature as well. And one of the things we have is we have almost 1,800 members of the seminar family, and we're throughout the state. And if we harness that energy, and clearly not all 1,800 are going to be able to be active, but if we are able to get a critical mass, we really do have a lot of influence. So thank you for that, Linda. And my apologies, I should have brought that up as well. So, okay, Zach, are you good to go?
Yes, sir. And just to clarify, everyone, I didn't actually get all 3 degrees at the same time. My bachelor's came last year in the spring of 2023, and the Masters came this year, so this past May, and I am currently on the job hunt, hoping to find anything and anything I can find really related to policy and advocacy work, but in particular, advocacy and policy work related to higher education as it relates to Black and Brown, multi-marginalized young adults. And first I just want to say thank you, Leverett, for the invitation, and thank you for always thinking of me whenever whenever the seminar has events like this. And just be in community on a day like today, where celebrating Juneteenth and celebrating what this day for descendants of enslaved peoples. And I mean, for me, a day like today is mostly a day of relaxation and a day of not really doing much outside of just taking time for myself, whatever that looks like. And I think being here and sharing stories and hearing stories and just hearing how the seminar continues to impact people for years beyond in which the year they take part in it just goes to show that it just goes to show the power of this kind of thing, and it goes to show the power and the investment and just the ultimate sense of of a need for something like this. So, I know, Leverett, you've already gotten your flowers on tonight, but, I'd just like to throw my hat in the ring there and give Leverett, his flowers one more time for just putting together a program like this and for continuing it, for years and years, and for hopefully continuing it for years to come in the future. And to just acknowledge the fact that you are that bridge between those of us who have no idea what it's like to interact with people in local and national government, and those of us who don't necessarily interact with constituents on a day-to-day basis. And so for that, I say thank you. And I think something else that comes to mind on a day like today is just acknowledging the fact that this is it is our Freedom Day. It is the day where we, as descendants of enslaved people, acknowledge ourselves as human, acknowledge ourselves as people, acknowledge some would say acknowledge the end of the Civil War. I I think of it as acknowledging how far Black people have come and how far we can go into the future. And I think of it as a way of rebuilding, as a way of recharging, as a way of connecting, as a way of sharing, as a way of being in community with people that are different from us in our experiences, and that carry that same pain and carry a sense of deep pride and a sense of humanity and a sense of just shared understanding of what it means to be to be ourselves, and to just be in relation to and in spite of oppression and what that means. And no no real I don't have a particular story, so to speak, but I think something that has stuck out for me is just the influence of a whole bunch of people in my life, but in particular my grandmother, who came to this country from Jamaica by way of London, and was able to raise a whole bunch of kids by herself pretty much, and helped to raise me. And one of my biggest supporters, my biggest rock, someone who I knew I could count on to be there for me and to just to to share in my victories, to help me pick myself up in my sorrows, and to just help push me forward whenever I needed that little pick me up. And, you know, I feel like on a day like today, I not only honor the sacrifices that I've made to get to where I am, but I honor the sacrifices that she made in order for me to get this far. Because honestly, without her, I don't know if I would have been able to get those bachelor's degrees. I don't know if I would have been able to get that master's degree. And, it's one of those things where it's where a day like today is taking the time to really and truly understand what it is, what it means to be in community, what it means to honor ourselves and honor those that came before us, and honor, in a way, even those that are going to come after us, and recognize that the work that has been done to get us to moments like this is not done, and that work continues. And ultimately, it's a sense of recognizing that the struggle the struggle is not something where each person is their own island. The struggle means, to me, the struggle is, the struggle requires, excuse me, all of us coming together and to choosing our better angels, for lack of a better phrase, and choosing humanity, and choosing to be better than the oppressive nations and the oppressive natures that we continue to face. And you know, I it's I constantly just think back to the ways in which Blackness has defined my life and continues to define it. And uh, I went in to UMass Amherst in the fall of 2018 knowing that I wanted to be an Afro-American studies major, because I wanted to look into and better understand Blackness and culture and music and TV and food and all of these things that make Blackness what it is, from a from the perspective of Black people, and from the perspective of of people that look like me, and of people who had gone through what I had gone through to that point, and recognize that needing to understand Blackness from a Black perspective, from a perspective that wasn't necessarily centered around white professors, you know, made my time in that department all the better. And even when facing racist hate crimes at the institution, along with a whole slew of other things that occurred during my time there, it it was always I always felt as though I could lean on the people around me, but as though I could lean on the members of the department to carry me through, to be there for me in a lot of ways that I didn't necessarily think I could be there for myself. And it makes you think, like, okay, I can if if I can just go, because to be fair, I hadn't been in a situation where I would have to be surrounded by a bunch of white people in a bunch of different classrooms in a if essentially 24/7 before, and not necessarily knowing what it would be like to be at a predominantly white institution for 4 years, and then which ended up becoming 5, but not necessarily knowing what that would look like, knowing that I had people who could understand what it meant to be in community with one another, could understand what it meant to recognize and understand, you know, and understand like community, and can understand, sense of camaraderie and who we are as people, just made it all the better. And, I mentioned this at a symposium that the grad students, the department put together in, I want to say that was March. Yeah, it was either March or April. No, April. And I said this to a group of people that were at that symposium, in that the department saved my life, so to speak. And when I said that, what I had meant was that it had done for me what I did not think was possible, that it had allowed me the opportunity to see myself, and to see Blackness, and to see everything that encompasses that in a whole bunch of different ways. And I would forever and ever be eternally grateful for them for that. And a quote that I always think of and that I always come back to, uh, you know, it's a quote by Asada Shakur, and I'll just end with this. It is our duty to fight for our freedom. It is our duty to win. We must love and support one another. And we have nothing to lose but our chains. And so thank you everyone for your time. Leverett, again, thank you for asking me to be here. And let's definitely keep in touch. I'll put my email in the chat. But
Wonderful. Thank you for that, Zach. Thank you for that end quote. And thank you for sharing and being so vulnerable. Really, again, I mean, thank to all three of you for sharing so much and being so open and vulnerable and candid. Really appreciate all that you bring to the table, and your generosity. So I think we have a few minutes for if folks want to offer their own reflections, or even ask a couple of questions to our speakers. Feel free to do that. Like I said, I mean, everybody has different perspectives, whether if you share them now or share them during class testimonials, whatever you're most comfortable doing, or even putting them in the chat, that works as well. But would anybody like to say anything or ask anything to our three speakers? Yes, Sheba.
Yes, definitely. So, Zach, thank you so much for the way you ended your speech with that quote. That is extremely, extremely deep. So thank you for that. And also to Oshanda, thank you for sharing your daughter's story. I've had things like this happen to my children. I do have two children, 17 and 14, and I've remained silent. So hearing your story just put a fire in me to no longer staying silent, right? To actually speak up. And to Linda for saying what you mentioned, that we do have the power to make a change and to be more like what I call Natalie when I first met her, with what she's done with Rosa Parks tribute. She's my Shirel, so I'm going to be more like a Natalie in the world. So thank you so much to all three of you.
Thank you for sharing, Sheba. Anna, you have your hand raised.
Well, it's not really much. I just want to thank you, all three of you, for what you guys have talked about, especially not being from America for that long. I was like, I don't know how to, I just got this. That was my little sister. I am so sorry. But it's just, if sometimes it feels like we can't do much. And like listening to your daughter's story, I don't have any kids, but I do have 6 younger siblings that I have helped raise myself and have gone through lots of discrimination. And especially as someone that just turned 21, it really does feel like there's not much we could do besides just like telling them that they're better than that they're better than them, and they could, like, it was just like, it made me happy to hear that we could make a change, and that there's stuff that we actually can do.
Oh, that's great. That's a great insight, Anna. Thank you for sharing that. And I do want to say, Anna, you were incredible, and you were being recorded. So for everybody who has been on the Zoom since the start, Anna has this thing about sort of getting a little nervous when she speaks when we're being recorded. You were awesome. So thank you. See, that's progress over 6 weeks, Anna. Well done.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Let's see. Anybody else with any questions or observations? Shared experiences? Tegan.
Yeah, sorry if my audio is really bad. I'm watching the dance right now. But I just want to say that throughout this whole experience, it's been so eye-opening to hear everyone's else's experiences. Because I go to a very closed school where there's very little diversity. And through this class, I've been able to learn so much about so many cultures and just so many situations where I learned different from mine. And it's really impacted me a lot in this event. So you guys are just all amazing.
Great. Thank you, Tegan. Thanks so much for sharing. That I know you're on your commute, so thank you for sharing that on your commute as well. And if anybody would like to, to share, would love that. I see Anna, with your hand raised. Anna, would you like to say a few words?
Of course, I'm so excited. This has been the fastest going 6 weeks of my life. I don't know. I didn't even know it was today. Then I got your email and I'm like, whoa, hold on. I just want to start off by saying thank you to everybody. And I learned so much from each and every single one of you. We all have such separate minds. It was incredible. My favorite class definitely was the case study with the vet and stuff. I didn't think that so much has to go into something when you're planning. And our last class as well was great. I think it really opened my eyes that you have to think even about the very little stuff to change a bill or do a law, whatever you're doing when it comes to the government. It's you have to describe everything and everyone. And I thought that was pretty cool. I am so excited to use the skills I've gained to pursue my career in immigration law. That is one of the reasons why I took this class in the first place. I did volunteer to teach English to refugees my last semester in school. And this really just it helped me a lot more to understand and see how I can actually do something to help from the root of the problem, not just what we can do as of right now. But yeah, thank you for joining me in this journey. And it was, again, so cool to see how we can all think of separate things and make it all into one. It was great.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for that, and really appreciated the energy you brought each and every class. And I'm joking before. I was half joking, but I actually am very serious. You remember how you kept saying, "I freeze up on screen." Well, you didn't freeze up at all today, and you did. You were incredible. So thank you so much. And it is growth. So hopefully, even that little part of you where we're speaking on recorded screen, hopefully we've helped with that. And so thank you for everything you brought every class on. Really appreciate it. So Sheba, I see your hand raised.
Thank you so much. And I do agree with Anna. 6 weeks went so fast. I don't know if because I'm getting older or what it is, but it went by really, really fast. And I've actually enjoyed every single class. So thank you so much. And I do have to give you your flowers, Leverett, for creating this for us, for getting all the speakers in line and being always so joyful, right? I'm all about energy, and you have a great energy. So thank you so much for always being so positive here. I enjoyed our first class about learning how to build up our past. That was very interesting in learning that. And of course, again, my new hero, as I mentioned many times, Natalie, just hearing how brave she was, right? And wanting to make a difference, even if, yes, she's not African-American, it doesn't matter what you look at. But if you have a passion for something and you care about people, you want to make a change, I'm just happy that she stood up and with all the no's she received, she just kept moving forward. She never actually gave up. So I look up to her. I know I just met her for like an hour through class, but I think of her often now. And whenever I actually want to give up, I'll think about her, right? She's just awesome to me. So it's been great being here. And again, I'm also very grateful as well to Juliet Mayers for making this possible for me. So thank you so very much.
Awesome. Thank you, Sheba. Thank you. And we look forward to keeping in touch with you. I know you and I are going to try to get together for a coffee in the very near future. And if anybody would like to just reach out to me and connect, I'm happy to try to be a resource and try to be as helpful as I can be. So thank you for that. Would anybody else like to say anything? Reflections, comments, suggestions? Oh, Omo, of course. I knew you'd raise your hand, Omo.
Thank you so much, Leverett. Hello, everyone. Apologies in advance if you hear any noise. I'm actually out of town with family. I'm on vacation. Came to visit loved ones, but just wanted to say truly thank you so much, Leverett, for creating this space. Thank you all here. I've learned so much from you all. I really, really enjoyed our breakout sessions, just being able to be free and having a safe space to, talk about different issues we feel passionate about, changes that we want to make, and just the fact that we highlighted so many different issues from housing to immigration issues to issues that uplift us every day, quite frankly. So thank you for this space. And I truly look forward to staying in touch. I have my information down on the spreadsheet. So if anyone would like to just connect and just reach out, or if you need anything from the Attorney General's office at all, just know that I'm there. Thank you again, Leverett, for just echoing what our colleague mentioned here. I think you're such a positive person. And you do it with so much smile and you're so genuine. And I truly admire that. And it has been one of the reasons why I've taken time to just join these classes, even around 5 p.m. when it's sort of hard to get out of work and stare at the screen. But just being able to see how positive and energetic you are is definitely something that everyone loves to see. So thank you. And don't change that attitude.
Thanks, Omo. Thanks very much. I mean, first, thanks for logging on vacation. Oh my gosh, what are you doing?
I couldn't miss it.
That is so. I mean, again, talk about commitment, but you're on vacation, you're with family, and you're joining us, and and we are a seminar family, so I guess that is nice. We can be part of your family gathering today. But thank you for that. And
thank you. Take care, everyone.
of course, and it's it's easy for me to be positive and have this energy when I'm around all of you. I mean, it's a two-way street. You give me the energy. If it wasn't, if it was just a very sort of, a class that really didn't bring it every week, it would reflect in how I, and how I responded. But it's this, I get the energy from you, and it just kind of comes back, and so it's easy for me to be positive and inspired and energetic when I see all of you, and I hear all of the things that you do and will do in your communities. And so, it's very energizing. Like I said, Wednesday, sometimes I'll log in, I'm like, I'm really tired. And then by the end of it, I'm like, I've got all this energy. And then, and I'll drive my family crazy because I'm incredibly hyper after meeting all of you. So thank you for all that you, all the energy that you bring to me. I'm just one person. I've got 20 people sending energy my way. And so that's why I get so much more from you all than I could ever give to you. So thank you all for giving me your energy. Let's see, would anybody else like to say a few words, comments, reflections, anything like that? Yifang, I see your microphone is off and you popped on camera, which gives me a signal that you want to say something.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I really thank you Leverett, you really like as like a role model, so energetic in starting this thing. It's at the most difficult time, but for me, I feel like what I learned is I need to learn a lot more. So before, many things I don't even know. So that's that kind of thing. So it is kind of interesting. Way of saying the more you get into the system, you feel you just don't know many things. So that's actually very good. So it looks like I have a many years to go to learn all these things. Yeah, that's really the thing I'm going to say. And what else? Oh, that was a little advertisement. Yeah, we will have a Asian music festival this Saturday evening. So anyone want to come, have a relaxed summer evening, just come to Lexington Center. Yeah.
If you want to put something in the chat where where we can find more information, if you have that, please
Sure.
feel free to
Sure,
add
yeah.
that. And Ting,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I know you're logging off. It says in the chat. Thank you so much for bringing your energy every week as well. So thank you, Ting. Have a good evening. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye, Ting.
Talking to you. Okay, wait, right before anybody else, because I want to say something to you specifically. When I logged into this class the first time, I was so nervous. I literally put on like a button up. I did my hair. I was like so scared. And then when I logged on, the first thing I see is you smiling at me and telling me how you're scared nobody else is gonna come in. And I'm like, everybody's gonna come. It was so fun and you're so inviting, and I am so thankful for you making it easier for everybody else. And I need you to understand that, because every single class you're like, I'm afraid only 4 people are going to come. No, everybody, your energy, even if I didn't want to be here, I would be here just because I knew that you would be here. And it was great.
Oh, thank you, Anna. Thank you so much. And it really, and it means a lot to me that everybody's saying that. But again, it is a two-way street, and it's the energy you all bring to me that kind of gets reflected back, and I'm so grateful for that. And maybe I should probably put in, when not that, because the original emails I send out to everybody are so long, I don't want to add more. But I'm thinking maybe I should just say, hey, it's pretty casual. This is, we're pretty chill. It's a Wednesday. We don't want it to be too formal. Maybe I should put that in. But so thank you for making that commitment to get all dressed up for that first class. I did notice. I'm like, oh wow, this is pretty good. But thank you for that, and maybe I'll do that as well. So, but going back to something you mentioned, you talk about having a lot to learn. I mean, we all do. I mean, I've been doing this now for so many years and been active in government for in community activities for a long time. I mean, we all do, but the beauty of the seminar is that you don't have to go on the journey alone. We are all resources. We hopefully we've put our contact information into the shared contact sheet so we can share this journey together. And when Lily logs on, she'll be able to give you more tips about different ways to be involved and stay involved. And I'll give the info on different things that we'll be doing together. So again, you won't have to go on that journey alone. And I don't hope that's something I can impress upon all of you. That's one reason to stay in touch. Not just because we're a cool, fun group, and where we're gonna do a lot of cool stuff together and fun stuff together, and a lot of work we can accomplish together. But it really is a support network, and what I mentioned in the first class, and I'll mention at the end, is this is a room where we self-select. How many people are going to be in a room on a Wednesday night for 2.5 hours learning about government and civics? No, not a ton of people. But so this is a room you should really cherish, and so try to stay in touch as much as possible. That if we can. So and again, if you want to put the festival in the chat. Linda actually asked me to share the legislation that she's trying to put in there. Let's see, here we go. if anybody would like to get involved with that. And also, Linda, if you're able, if you'd like to put your contact information in the chat, that way people can reach out to you as well. And let's see. Would anybody else like to say a few words? I know Tegan actually has something very big coming up, which is part of, I mentioned Zach is part of our Next Gen program. Tegan is a Next Gen fellow as well. Tegan, would you like to say anything or say a few words? Is Tegan on screen? I don't see her. I don't see them. Oh, there they are. Sorry. Sorry. Their name's right there. It's right staring me in the face.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know if we can hear you. Are you able to get in a better speaking position?
Can you guys hear me now?
Okay, yeah, I'll let everybody give the thumbs up. Yeah, okay.
Okay, good.
Are folks able to hear? Can we hear them? No, Tegan, we can't hear you, unfortunately. Okay. All right. I think they logged off. They'll try to get in a better speaking position, and a better, because they're commuting. They're commuting back from, I think, school. So we'll wait for them to log back on and try to get in a better acoustic position. In the meantime, would anybody else like to say anything, a few words or reflections or comments, suggestions?
Hi, can you hear me?
Hey, Jordan. Yes, we can.
Sorry, I'm not on camera, but I just want to say a couple of quick words. Really echoing what everybody else says. Really, awesome to be in an environment with a bunch of people who have that ambition and have that intention to not only want to make themselves grow, but impact their communities and really make a change on how things are kind of going right now in a positive direction. And secondly, like, massive shout out to you, Leverett, for really like creating the infrastructure and making folks feel welcome to really even come to these spaces and feel open and feel willing to really contribute in a meaningful way. I feel like being in government sometimes I'm like, oh, like, I have a pretty good idea of how to operate somewhat in these spaces, but like every week I was finding out valuable information, printing out PowerPoints, bringing them home, and I was like, yo, we could use this in our own lives, or just, just to incorporate going forward. So just to wrap it up, lastly, super inspiring to see how you're moving in your capacity, Leverett, because I hope going forward that I can hopefully use your leadership to create spaces like this for folks like us, and not only like support folks like you who are creating these spaces, but eventually become a leader one day where I'm creating these spaces as well, so people can continue to grow in meaningful ways. So thank you again for real.
Thank you, Jordan. Thanks so much for again, I've said it before to multiple, we're bringing the energy. I think especially early on, you had to put together that giant Heritage Month celebration at the State House for AAPI Heritage Month, and yet you still came to class and you still participated even in the midst of all the work that you have to do in the governor's office. And so thank you so much for that and for your commitment. And that was an awesome event. So thank you for putting that together.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And it was low key like my pre-family reunion. So it was definitely worth it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Let's see. Would anybody else like to say anything or a few words? I see Yvonne put it in the flyers in the chat. Okay, you put a whole flyer there, not just a website. That was awesome. Thank you. So, okay, so yeah, check out the flyer. And let's see. Oh, I see Tegan. Okay. Oh, Ethan, would you like to say a few things?
Yeah, I'd just like to echo what everyone else has been saying, especially my gratitude for you, Leverett, and this everyone here as well. You know, I feel like we're all really blessed to have such a influential mentor like you, and coming from a young person, you know, talking about civics and the government can be kind of boring, but I think you've made it such an interesting experience, especially with all the people you've brought on and everyone's stories, Linda and Roshana, you guys as well, and Zachary who took off. But again, just expressing gratitude for that and the influence that you, Leverett, you've had on me and everyone here and on my friends. I know I've been talking about this seminar with them and, you know, the influence that is going to radiate with everyone here and everyone that we talk with and the communities that you'll impact outside of just, you know, Greater Boston. So thank you, Leverett, very much.
Well, thanks, Ethan. That's very flattering, and I'm honored that and humbled that you mentioned that. And you know, if any of your friends would like to participate, you know, we more than welcome them. I think I think you're all the best ambassadors of the seminar in terms of getting the word out there, in terms of bringing more folks in. I think it was Roshana and Sheba both talked about one of their mentors, Juliet Mayers, who was a graduate from the last class, recommending that they take the seminar. And a number of folks, I know Linda has referred a bunch of folks. I think Christine Lee is was referred by Linda, and so there are so many folks that have been referred by seminar grads and seminar alumni and seminar family members, so that we can build upon it, and we can build. You hear this old phrase called the old boys network, which when you think about it, it's like you just think about sort of a room of older white guys in a room making decisions. Well, we can be the old seminar network. And it's not going to look anything like the old boys network. And it's not going to have any of the ideas, like maybe some, but it'll have different twists and turns and perspectives on the other ideas. And it's going to, and if we slowly but surely, it's brick by brick, generation by generation, that's how we'll change this, we'll change the narrative, and we'll change then we'll slowly but surely change the world. So, it's all of you kind of helping bring folks to us, and then hopefully we spread that out, and we spread the knowledge. And so thank you for that, Ethan, and I encourage everybody, that's how, even if you can't, you yourself can't come to all the events, it's just life happens, and we're all like, oh yeah, we're gonna stay in touch. Sometimes you just can't. Life just gets in the way, work gets in the way, school, family, things just happen, so you can't. But just want to one of the ways you can is to kind of send folks our way, and when you can come back, feel free to come back. I mean, I think somebody, and I know she doesn't like it when I call her up, but Anita Yip, who put something in the chat, so I encourage you all to look in the chat for what Anita wrote. But Anita comes back, and sometimes she's here, sometimes not, but for a while she's really come back and really made an impact on the seminar. She's made an impact on me personally with the different perspectives that she's brought. But a member of the seminar family who she even put it in the chat, she graduated over 10 years ago. And so I want all of you to feel like you can always, whether or not you've been away for 2, 3, 4, 5 years, you can always come home. This is always going to be home for you, and it's always going to be a welcome space for you. And again, nobody expects you to come back every single event or every single week like Anita and Linda do, but you're always able, and you're always welcome to come home. And so I just want to impress that upon you as much as possible, and you'll always have a safe space here. So thank you for that, and thank you for kind of prompting me to say that, Ethan. Really appreciate that. Let's see. What was I gonna say? Oh, Tegan, they are back. Tegan, are you can we test out your audio, Tegan?
All right, is this kind of better?
I don't know.
Is it not working still?
I don't I'll let everybody else kind of judge that because maybe it's my audio. But yeah,
Yeah.
if everybody gives a thumbs up, or if you cannot hear them, please say something, because I always feel bad saying, hey, I can't hear you. So all right, you want to give it a shot?
Can everyone hear me? Oh
Yes, yes,
no.
I can hear you.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, I just wanted to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Aiden, and the past 2 months, I've been doing an internship with a seminar. And basically, my job is reaching out to specific cities to request voter turnout data. For those of you who don't know what voter turnout is, that is just the percentage of the people who participated in that election. State election, provincial, whatever election happened, it's the percentage of people who participated. And I can reflect a lot on how motivated people are, goals. Also, if people trust the candidates or not, it matters to them. There's a lot of factors that go into what turnout can be like. So basically, I'll be doing a presentation tomorrow on the data that I collected and the research that I did. And I think you can guys can ask 11 for the link, but you all are welcome to come. I believe it's at 9 tomorrow morning. It should be about an hour, but you guys are all welcome to come if you want to see what I did.
Megan, do we have the link? I think Lily. Oh, maybe Lily has a link. When Lily logs on, can
I
you
believe I
remind?
can look for it in my email right now, but
Okay.
if I find it in my email before Lily comes, I'll send it in the group chat for everyone.
Okay. And when Lily logs on, if I forget, can you please remind her to share the link if she's able? Because I'd love for everybody to share in the work that you've been doing. Really helping us a lot, and with our big project that we're working on, trying to increase civic engagement. It's a two-year project, and Tegan is helping us lay the foundation for it, where we're going to try to increase civic engagement and voting in gateway cities, which are cities where a lot of new folks come, hence the name Gateway, where a lot of new folks come into Massachusetts and are trying to gain a toehold. And one of the things we're trying to do is, and one of the things that Tegan is doing the research on how the populations of these cities have changed, and examining how voting and the faces of representation of these cities, have they reflected or have they evolved with the changes in population. And then we're going to try to bring the Commonwealth Seminar to these cities and towns to try to and working with partners in these cities and towns to try to increase civic engagement there. So if folks do have time tomorrow morning, they will be presenting in the morning, and hopefully we'll be able to get you that link before we all log off. So thank you for sharing that, Tegan. Okay, would anybody else like to say a few words, or would like to offer a few remarks or comments or observations before, hopefully before Lily logs on? So, okay. Oh, Nick.
Hi, Leverett. So I just want to say like a quick thank you for like the seminar as a whole. So as a communication major, my thing is all like, marketing, random things that make people feel good and look nice. And so when my professor had recommended the seminar to me, I was like, I don't understand why you would want me to be more involved with like politics and everything. Like I work with kids. I guess that kind of works out with it. And so coming into it, I felt sort of out of place of like, okay, communication, great. Public policy, not really my thing. But then kind of like getting to speak with like Philip Martin and going through like each seminar, it kind of became more apparent that there's more than just like drafting different paperworks and just getting things pushed through, or like having to wait on everything. Like there are different aspects to creating a better sense of community with the Commonwealth Seminar that I've learned. And I just want to say thank you for that and making this a much more accessible and like gateway to opening new avenues of like public interest and engaging with the public. And so again, like everyone else has said, thank you for making this such a welcoming space to be in. And I greatly appreciate it. And especially all of the breakout room conversations, and for all of you putting up with my cat jumping in and out of frame. I appreciate that, and he appreciates it too.
Awesome. Thank you, Nick. And thank you, thanks for sharing that perspective and for the encouraging words. And the cats, that's actually not, your cat is nothing in terms of people coming on. I mean, I think we all saw Charles's kids kind of make an appearance during his presentation. And we say seminar family. Family includes people, pets, and plants. So if you have a plant or anything like that, people, pets, plants, we are all seminar family, and so all are welcome, and all are, that's another sort of way for us to show our inclusiveness, where we are all are welcome. And another reason why sort of the Zoom works, where where it's just easier for people to log on, and easier for people to live life while they take the seminar. And so hopefully that helps, and hopefully it's something that continues, that continues. And so thank you. We actually welcome your cat. What is your cat's name, by the way?
Okay, so his name is Nala, and that's only because he was my grandmother's cat before, and she thought for like the first 6 months of his life that he was a girl. And so Nala just kind of stuck. And then she was like, Nick, I don't feel like taking care of him, so now he's my cat. And yeah, his name's just Nala now.
That's awesome. Thank you for sharing that. See? That's thank you for sharing that. It's been an amazing 6 weeks together. But yeah, I mean, I think I froze right after, right after, was it, it wasn't Jordan. Was it Jordan? It was somebody, but I don't know if anybody else would like to add anything. Okay. All right. Well, again, thank you all so much. I mean, it really means a great deal to me personally that you all participated in this program, and I think, as I mentioned earlier, you give me so much more than I think our program could give you. And so we really want to make sure that we continue to give back, and we can do that by offering all of these other in-person activities. You're always going to be welcome to come back for different events. The seminar family gets different discounts to other networking events. I think there's one Get Connected where it's the largest in-person networking event for communities of color in the Northeast. We get discounted tickets for that, and it's always their next one is called A Taste of Ethnic Boston, which is July 30th, and it's a lot of incredible chefs. We're on the planning committee, and so this year is going to be held at Big Night Live next to TD Garden, and it's a huge space. And so I think we're going to try to match the boat cruises attendance of close to 1,000 people. So be on the lookout for that invitation and for that discount. So there's all these different ways that we want to continue to give back to you. And so just wanted to say thank you to all of you for our 6 weeks together. Thank you all so much. I mean, really, from the bottom of my heart, it means so much to me personally. And I hope you've enjoyed your 6 weeks with us together, and hopefully 6 months, 6 years, 6 decades together as members of the seminar family. We hope that you stay in touch and stay involved. And like I mentioned, you're always welcome back. This is always going to be home for you. And no matter where life takes you, however long, it's like, don't ever think, oh, I haven't been back in 2 or 3 or 4 years. You're always welcome back. And so, this kind of, as I mentioned, cherish this room, cherish this seminar, cherish this family, because we are a special group that want to change our communities and are committed to our communities and to each other. So thank you all so much. Incredibly appreciated.